People keep asking if I'm back. And I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Okay, that intro was a little overboard, but yeah, I'm back. And a lot's happened since the last time I uploaded to YouTube. But before I get into the topic of today, which is how I plan on breaking sub 3 in the marathon, I figured I'd do a recap for everyone who's new. So, hello, my name is Joshua. And in June of 2020, I saw a post on Instagram about someone who's been running every day for like 4 years or something like that and thought, I need to start getting active myself. So I decided to run every single day for an entire year. Once I had accomplished that, set my sights on running my first race ever, which happened to be a full marathon. In hindsight, I probably could have just done a local 5K or 10K, but I figured, what the heck, I'll do a full marathon as my first race ever with a goal of running sub 3 to make Boston. Didn't hit that goal. I ran a 3:17:05, which was still great, and a PR because it was my first race ever. So no matter what I ran, I was PRing. So after Detroit, I wanted to race again immediately to try and break that sub 3. So I decided to run the Glass City Marathon in Toledo, which was in April of 2022. But unfortunately, in late November of 2021, my dad was sick and hospitalized, and a few weeks later, in December of 2021, passed away. I really debated after my dad passed if I should continue the run streak and do the race at all, but figured running was my outlet, and you hear stories all the time of people who go through difficult times by finding something that's their outlet to kind of just decompress and process things, and I figured running would be that outlet. It was not. I did the training block, which was a 16-week training block. It began in January, going up into April, but I think 3 weeks before I actually was supposed to do the race, I went out for a run and just completely fell apart within a mile. I ended up injuring my hamstring. So what I decided to do was, at that point, I ended the run streak and thought, well, if I just kind of take it easy up until the race, I'll be good. So for the next 3 weeks, I basically ran easy up into Glass City, felt great going into the race, or at least thought I felt great, ended up completely falling apart and imploding at like mile 8, ended up running a 3:29 something. I want to forget that race, that's for sure. But I completely missed my goal, completely fell apart, kind of fell out of love with running altogether. Decided to take a long break. And if you'll notice, that's also the last time I posted to YouTube. So I realized that through that whole process of my dad passing away, running was not the solution, and I probably should have taken a break. When I did come back, I had absolutely no goals in mind. I decided I would run Detroit again, but as a half marathon, because in the both times I ran the marathon, at the half marathon mark, I kept thinking, man, it would be really great if I was finishing the race right now, but instead I got another 13 miles and I'm already dying. So I thought, you know what, I'll run the half marathon, but I won't set any goals. I'll just kind of do training. If I miss days or the training doesn't go well, who cares? I'll just go out and have fun. It'll be my first half marathon ever, so no matter what I do, I'll PR. I ended up running the Detroit Free Press, and I believe like 124, 125. Kind of fell in love with running and racing, if you want to put it. I mean, that was only my like 4th race ever, but I fell back in love with running and racing simply because I put absolutely no pressure on myself and just had fun. So I started looking for summer marathons where I could give myself a break to rest and relax, and I ended up landing on Grandma's Marathon, which is in Duluth, Minnesota, on June 17th of 2023, and it should be where I can break my goal of 3 hours in the marathon. So now that we're all caught up on the recap, I figured I would go into how I plan on actually breaking 3 hours, considered I've done 2 attempts and really missed the mark on both. So we'll go through my training plan, what I've been doing so far, because I've already been training for the marathon. So I'll give a lead up of what I did prior to my training, what I've been doing so far in my training, and what's left in the training block leading up to the marathon. In January, I began my running again for base running. I do not remember why I took the entire second week of January off. The plan was to basically go a few weeks into like base building of light mileage leading up to trying to do high 40s, low 50s per week up until when the marathon training was supposed to start, which is the end of February. So I figured I had roughly 2 months to get myself to a place where I didn't ramp up too quickly and injure myself. And then Grandma's marathon training, as you can see here, starts on the 26th of February. And the way the plan works, so I'm doing the Hanson's marathon method or a modified version. I purchased Hanson's marathon method on Final Surge. I did the 85 to 100 mile per week plan, but I actually adjusted it. I tailored it down to be roughly 60 to 75, I think is where it caps. So then I just modified it to be less mileage because, to be honest, to break a 3-hour marathon, I don't need to be running 100 miles a week. The way it works is the first 2 weeks, you only do 1 day of speed work. Easy runs all the way through, and then your long run starts at 14 and then slowly builds. Somewhere in here, and seeing this now, it makes me believe that maybe it was after this run. I actually don't remember when it was, to be honest, and that's partly because I kind of thought maybe it's no big deal. You know, there's always runs I'll have where something's a little more sore than normal, or something hurts a little more than normal, but it usually goes away with rest. But it was somewhere in this week, in week 3, my knee started to hurt just ever so slightly. It slowly got worse, but was never like excruciating pain. And then the day I decided I should probably take a break and try and let this heal was that Monday I did a speed work. As you can see, it was 12 by 400 at my 10K pace. I hit all the paces fine. Like the 12th rep, I think I hit like a 5-minute flat for the 400. Like I kind of tried to just really push that last one. But then in the cool down and afterwards, I just kept thinking the pain is starting to get to a point where I'm feeling it like when I go to sleep. I'm kind of always feeling it. And so I should probably take a break because if I continue, it's only going to get worse and then I might not be able to race at all. So as you can see here, I took a break for 6 days, and then basically what I did was I came back, kind of took the same approach of the base building. To be honest, I was starting to get nervous and still am kind of nervous. I primarily have 10 weeks to train to break 3 hours because of what happened with my knee, because starting back up here, there's like that thought in the back of my head, like my knee could kind of start hurting at any moment. Safe to say the knee is better. And I'm feeling really strong. I'm feeling back to where I should be in terms of training. And only time will tell if this will be enough to actually get me across the finish line on race day. And here we are at the week we are currently in. From here on out, basically 2 speed works or speed workouts every week, Monday and Wednesday. I made my rest day Sunday. The long run is always on Saturday. That's primarily because the race is on Saturday. But even moving forward, I'm always going to run my long runs, I believe, on Saturdays now and do my rest day on Sunday, primarily because of having a family, 2 kids, 2 young kids. It's nice to have that Sunday to relax, like a full day, not like, oh, my rest day happens to be a day where I'm working. This allows me to have a full day to like spend with my family. Long runs on Saturday are perfectly fine. I don't believe the adaptations between like Sunday and Saturday are enough to be like, oh, I need to be running on Sunday when my race is, or whatever day it is, if it's a Monday for like Boston or whatever. I believe my highest mileage week is here at 75 miles per week. And then I do one more 70 mile week, and then the taper begins. So then I go down to 60, 48, and then 45 that last week. And as you can see, I moved my rest day to Thursday for that week. I also only do 1 day of speed work on the last week before race day. So yeah, that's how I plan on breaking 3 hours in the marathon and qualifying for Boston. And with this running series leading up to the race, each week I'm going to cover different topics of my training. So that'll be easy runs, speed work, my running essentials, recovery, tapering, and then actually vlogging the race. So if that's something that interests you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and leave a comment on any races you plan on doing this spring and or summer. Or if you're running Grandma's, I would love to see you at the race, give you a high five, and wish you good luck before we start off on our adventure to run a marathon.